Hiya, and welcome back to Echo. I don't know. Let's just jump right in. We're going to be doing more prologues. Okay, what ones did we do? I'll have to check my YouTube channel for that one. I'm gonna mute this. Actually, no, I don't think I have to. My channel. Okay, so we have two left. So let's just jump right in. We might actually start Jenna's route tonight. September 2014. Scales glistening with perspiration seen through his open button-down shirt, Flynn hefts some boxes down the roller conveyor. Nagila briskly walks over to his pallet jack, pumping it vigorously. He drags the stacked-up pallet of 15 packs of 24-count spring water bottles across the stockroom to the truck's trailer. Dumping the pallet in, he drags the jack back out, haphazardly abandoning it mid-walk as he gets to the clerical counter. He picks up a clipboard, checking off the work he just did, examining the list intently. His tail whips back and forth, the orange splotch patterns looking metallic in the sparse incandescent light. He's been working overnights at this distribution center for nearly 8 years, and for some reason, he hasn't grown numb to it. Flynn plops the clipboard onto the counter, patting his pockets with his scaled claws, and pulls out a pack of cigarettes and a lighter. Sean, an armadillo. Sean, an armadillo, sees him and walking toward the side exit. Where do you think you're going? Taking my break. Sean rubs his face with both paws. Okay, you're really doing this tonight? You know we still got 4 trailers left to fill, right? Flynn pops a cigarette between his lips. Yeah, and we still got 5 hours in the fucking shift. We're back. You're shift lead. You know where to find me. Flynn leans against the building, unlit cigarette in his mouth, fidgeting with the lighter. It sparks over and over again, but never igniting. He sighs, slipping the lighter back into his pocket and switching it out with his phone. He scrolls through a few posts on social media, checking his messages, staring idly at his home screen. He perks up at some distant revving. He picks out the familiar pickup truck from across the parking lot, greeting it as it pulls up. About time. We're too busy fapping at the moon. You'd like that. You're just lucky I happen to be up. Otherwise you'd have no one to talk shit to. Flynn chuckles. Leo nods his head towards the Gila's snout. Thought you don't smoke anymore. Flynn takes the cigarette out of his mouth. Yeah, I don't. So what? Just like chewing on him? Flynn clears his throat. Yeah, actually. Alright, man. It's great if you quit, but you know I don't care what you do, right? No. He lets out a breath. I'm serious. I quit. Don't like them. It's like you keep the thing that kills you between your teeth or whatever. It's from a movie. That's really fucking cheesy, man. Flynn pockets the cigarette and shrugs. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I just liked it. Leo rolls his eyes, letting out a sighing laugh. He puts his paws behind his head and leans back against the building next to Flynn, looking up at the full moon. He reaches over, running his paw softly under the Gila's head spines. The reptile closes his eyes for a moment, humming at the touch. He looks over at the glinting piece of silver on the wolf's wrist, shining in the moonlight. Leo looks too, their eyes locking briefly. Flynn snickers. Your eyes are weird as hell. You said they're brown, but they always look red in the light. Yeah, I've been told that before. Leo pulls his paw back. Why'd you stop? You know I like having my spines petted. Oh, my bad? I'm just messing with you. You're in a really good mood. Yeah, just touch-starved, I guess. Aw, you need me that bad, huh? You want to make cuddles at work a regular thing? Settle down. I can get better tail than you whenever I want. Fuck you. Name the time and place. They laugh for a while. They fall into a comfortable silence, listening to the sounds, looking at the sky. So, he's graduating in about a year now, right? We're supposed to be having some sort of reunion? Leo leans back against the building. Jenna and Tej too. Exciting, right? We'll be a crew again, just like back then. Sure. Flynn takes the cigarette back out and rolls it around in his fingers before returning it to his mouth. You don't seem all that excited. Flynn keeps it in his mouth as he speaks. We've had separate lives these past few years, Leo. And a lot has happened, too. Some of it, well, you know, some of it's fucked. Just don't be surprised if it's not the same. Leo sighs. Maybe. Either way, though, it'll at least be nice to see everyone again. For sure. Flynn takes the empty lighter back out. He strikes it once, twice, like the many times he has before when he was feeling nervous, or just needed something to do with his hands. He watches the sparks dance and die, searching desperately for gas, never finding any. He lifts a cigarette out of his mouth, eyes falling away from the wolf. He inhales. And I need to know where we stand, Leo. I don't want to get caught in the middle of that shit again. None of us do. The red wolf's shoulders ease down as he lets out a ragged sigh. He runs a paw up his snout, rubbing his eyes with his fingers and thumb. Then he looks back at the towering reptile. I love you and Chase as friends. Very good friends. That's good enough for me. Flynn studies the determined look on Leo's face. He puts the cigarette back into his mouth. When he speaks again, it's level, almost monotone. I guess that's okay. If that's all you want. What do you mean? Flynn shrugs. Nothing. Okay. And the last prologue. Fuck. Okay, I'm like terrified. October 2014. Yeah, that wasn't creepy at all. Who's this asshole? I let the sugar cube roll around on my tongue, realizing how gross sugar really is without anything to go with it. Or maybe it's just the LSD. Does acid taste like anything? I guess the cube is a little bit bitter, sort of. I look over at Jeremy, whose mouth is open, and I can see the sugar cube bounce around on his tongue. Oh, that's Jeremy. Epic. Are you sure there's anything in this? I don't taste it. It doesn't taste like anything. I let the cube clack against my teeth a few times before it breaks up and starts dissolving a lot faster. No turning back now. I tap my hoof against the messy floor, making the bed I'm sitting on squeak. Jeremy grins at me. Dude, relax. Remember, good vibes, otherwise you're going to trip bad. Him saying that only makes me more nervous, and I put my face in my paws. Shit, man. Shouldn't have done this. Can I throw it up? He laughs at me, but at this point, I'm so nervous I can't be mad at him. In a way, I'm latching onto him for guidance because I know he's done this before. You know you can't throw it up. Remember, good vibes. This is about discovering yourself. Couldn't we at least have done this outside? This isn't exactly my idea of a place I'd want to find myself in. I glance around Jeremy's trailer and wrinkle my nose. Now, my room isn't spotless, but Jeremy's place is downright nasty. Underneath the smell of pot is a layer of mold and rotting food. The light is a sickly yellow that turns everything into this 70s-ass trailer into a piss-stained color. The walls are paneled wood with missing parts, and it's hard to see through the plates, bottles, and used tissues. Gross. To the orange shag carpet underneath. No, I don't want that bitch cop finding us. She's already got it out for me. He lays back on the bed, looking at the ceiling, one of his giant ears folded under his head. He lifts his head back up to swat it back into position. You're over your whole anxiety stuff, right? I told you, this ain't like pot. It's not something you fuck around with. Well, you saying shit like that is really helping. I try to keep my voice steady. He watches me for a while, then nods to his shitty TV. Want to watch something while it sets in? Might help you relax. That does sound like a good idea, but still, I'm not so sure. Wasn't I doing this to discover myself? Now that I think about it, I'm not really sure why I decided to do this in the first place. Maybe to figure out why I'm so goddamn broken. He takes my silence as a yes, though, and goes over to a splintered shelf to pull out a VHS. His TV is so fucking old, it's got a VHS player built into it. This cartoon got me through a lot of tough times as a kid. He turns on the TV and sticks it in. I watch the white play letters appear over the blue screen before it flickers to a faded out picture of a pink feline thing in a diaper. Okay, I heard that and immediately thought of Pink Panther. Distorted music crackles out of the TV's tiny speakers as the cat starts talking to us in a high-pitched whine. I frown. This is just creepy. Nah, that's just because I've played it way too many times. Just watch and try to relax. Jeremy comes back to the bed and I lean back against the wall while Jeremy curls up next to the pillow. I'm not totally sure what the show is about since the TV is kinda quiet and the audio is all fucked up. All I can figure out is that the cat thing and his baby bird friend are trying to make something. A cake, I think. But they're making a huge mess. It feels like one of those shows that might be fun to make fun of with Leo or something. Or Chase. He always laughs at the stupid shit I say. The kitchen, they're in a bright pink that almost stings my eyes, and I'm not sure if it's because of the distortion or if it was like that originally. It starts to hurt a lot, so I look up at the ceiling. I notice a whole bunch of holes in it, and there's one part with wires hanging out and pipes inside. Suddenly, I'm really wishing I'm not here. I start to grip the bed sheets because things are feeling really light. My body feels light, like a cloud, and now I know it's starting. I try to relax because that's what Jeremy said I should do, but now the ceiling is starting to move. The pattern's starting to swirl around that hole, like it's a whirlpool. No, like it's a black hole. I don't know what to think. It is kind of cool to watch, but that feeling that I'm not connected to anything isn't really fun, and it's actually kind of scaring me. I still feel like I'm floating up towards that black hole, like it's sucking me in. I jolt and take a breath that sounds so sloppy because I'm drooling down my chin, and I whip my head around to look at Jeremy. He's staring at his paws, and he looks up and grins at me. You alright? I just stare at him. How long has it been? It's like I just jumped an eon between the time I was staring at the black hole to now as I'm staring at Jeremy's face. His eyes are bright white, like marbles burning into me. I try to breathe normally, try not to freak out. Hey, watch the TV. It's alright. If it gets too bad, you can just pull out one of your joints. I turn my eyes to the TV and see that pink tiger guy again. He's pointing at the oven, talking to the bird. It's a green bird, and for some reason the orange on his wings keeps slipping off. Like those feathers are a jacket that he can't keep on. Hold up. Okay, I genuinely thought that the background was starting to change. I'm still not completely sure about what's going on, but now I think I'm starting to realize. That tiger wants the bird to get in the oven, to clean it because there's shit in between the grating. Stuff that needs to be cleaned off because they don't have anything to put the cake on before they put it into the oven. So the oven needs to be super clean. But the tiger doesn't really care if the oven is clean. He's going to shut the door as soon as the bird gets inside, and he's going to turn it all the way up to 500 degrees and cook the bird alive. Suddenly I'm fucking pissed. Jeremy made me watch this shit to freak me out. He didn't really want me to calm down. He wanted me to lose my mind watching this cartoon horror show. I look over at him and glare. What the fuck is this? He doesn't even look up from his paw. What else is he planning? If he was willing to be this cruel to me, what else is he going to do? Suddenly, I'm really scared and breathing hard. I stand up quick, and that's when he finally looks up at me. Carl? Dude, just leave me alone. Carl, what are you seeing? Stop it. I turn away and stumble to the door. Carl, whatever it is, it's not real. He sounds distracted, like he doesn't care. He doesn't even get up off the bed to follow me, which is just fine. I stumble out and gasp as the cool air hits my lungs. It feels good because I'm leaving behind whatever bad shit is inside Jeremy's trailer inside that black hole. And now, suddenly, I just feel sad and lonely. Why the fuck did I hang out with Jeremy? I stand there for a second, looking around, and that's when I realize I don't even know where I am. It's dark and there aren't any lights on the streets. How the hell am I supposed to get home? Leo. Leo can help me. Just thinking about him fills me with a warm feeling, like back when I was 17 and Dad just told me he'd pay for everything. I reach in my pocket and pull out my phone. I stare at it, and I stare and stare and stare because I don't even know what to push. The little apps keep swirling around, like the black hole. I shut my eyes, then push where I know the phone app is supposed to be. Open them again and see the keypad, and I blow out a sigh of relief. And as soon as I push the first number, all of the numbers change. I frown and push the next number, but the numbers change right back before I hit it, and I spend the next 10 minutes, 20, 80, 2 hours, trying to figure it out, but it's no use. I keep shaking my phone and swearing like that's gonna help. I finally give up and stumble to my car, trying to keep my breathing under control. Bro, doesn't whatchamacallit, phone assistants, don't they exist? I'm pretty sure they do. Just be like, hey Google, call this person. Because I'm on the verge of a panic attack, and I have a feeling that it's going to be way worse than the one I had at school. For a while I sit there in the seat in the dark and stare out through the windshield. I see the beginning... Makes sense. I see the beginnings of swirls and whirlpools again, so I look down at my hands, and that's when I see the first shifting around too. I close my eyes and just think about how nice the cool leather feels against my eyes. It's the drug, it's the LSD. I'm having a bad trip. I know this, but knowing that still scares me. At that moment, I hear and feel something run past the window, then bounce over the hood of my car. I whip my head up and stare into the blackness and feel my throat close up. Please. I say it to no one, but everyone at the same time. It comes out strange and tame. It comes out strangled and whiny because I'm about to start crying. Home. I need to get home. I turn on my car, but I'm not really sure where I'm at. GPS. That'll help. I lean down towards the console, trying to find the right button. Again, things are moving around and the bright blue LED lights are blurring and leaving long trails in my vision. I have to close my eyes again and stab at different buttons, scaring the shit out of myself when the music starts blaring. Psychedelic rock is a lot less fun now. That thing is out there and I don't want to attract it with noise. Okay, I know this is awful, but I'm trying so hard not to laugh right now. I manage to turn the music off, and what seems like an eternity later, I hear the words I've been looking for. State your destination. Home. I almost sob it out, leaning back in the seat and covering my face, sighing with relief. Navigating to Pueblo. You should reach your destination in 3 hours and 32 minutes. My eyes fly open. No! I struggle to remember the stupid name I gave it. No! Fat ass! For some reason, it's only hitting me now how stupid that name is. How unfunny and immature it is. How I've been so lazy that I haven't taken the time to change the name of my stupid GPS that I named 5 years ago. Again, I feel the bony skeletal thing rush by my passenger window, dragging its fingers along the glass. Fat ass, navigate home. Navigating to the University of Pueblo. No! You should reach your destination in 3 hours and 39 minutes. No! I slam my fist into the console. I'm about ready to run out of the car into the darkness screaming for help. Not just because I'm scared, but because sitting still is almost as bad as being lost. I need to move. My legs are bouncing up and down, hitting the steering wheel, and it feels like I'm peeing my pants. I took a few deep breaths. I can do this. Just need to calm down. Fat ass. Stupid. Immature. Yes? I pause because I know it's not supposed to do that. Or is it? I try to remember what I was going to say. Yes? The tone is different, taunting, like it knows that it's fucking with me. It doesn't wait for me to say anything. Navigating to the thing. You have arrived. Your destination is on your left. I cower in my seat because I can feel it standing right next to me, outside the window, staring in at me through the glass. I cover my face with my paws, and I can feel tears leaking through my fingers. I stay like that for a long, 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 long time. Hours stretch into weeks, stretch into months, stretch into infinity, and I fall into the black hole. It stretches my mind, starts pulling it apart along with the rest of my body. I start to give in, start to give up. Navigating home. You should reach your destination in 3 minutes. Slowly, I bring my paws down from my face. The clock says 2:23. If that's right, it's been 2 hours since I ate that sugar cube. I look out the window and see that the light is still on in Jeremy's trailer. I wonder if he's going through the same thing as me. But I'm calm now because I know why the GPS was freaking out earlier. It was stupid of me to lose my shit like that, especially now that I know that Chase is in the car, home from spring break. He's been fucking with me, trying to get me to go to Pueblo with him. I remind him that I'm tripping the fuck out and that messing with me in any way isn't a good idea. I look around and can't see him, but that's okay. It's just nice that he's here. I put the car in drive and pull into the road, start driving where the GPS is telling me to go. I'm chill now, but I still feel like something's following me. It makes me feel better that Chase is telling me about school, how much he misses me. I think I feel him caress one of my horns, which is okay because it feels nice. My car rolls along down the road, and over time, things start to blur together. Again, time stretches and distorts, but it's okay because Chase is talking to me. But then his tone gets more urgent. He's trying to warn me about something. I frown, dread starting to roil in my gut again. What now? I think about looking in my rearview mirror. I don't want to, but I do, and as soon as I do, I'm screaming. Red, bony with black holes for eyes, then something grabs my neck. I let out a long, strangled moan of horror, and my hoof slams the gas. That moment stretches, distorts, alters, and changes just like the VHS Jeremy had shown me that lifetime ago. I go back and forth. I repeat and loop, the thing killing me forever. Oh my god. I'm lifted out of my seat and my head slams into something, sending white light flashing through my eyes. An explosion hits me in the stomach and chest, and now I can't breathe. Little hard pebbles pelt the back of my head as what sounds like sand being poured out onto paper echoes in my ears. Slowly, I sag back down into my seat, and my vision is full of white, a balloon pushing out of the steering wheel. On that white are little dark red spots that keep popping up in different spots. I cough, and then there are a million of them. I stare at them, confused, and they start to dance around and whirlpool. I crashed the car, I realized, and I also realized that I've killed Chase. He'd be sitting in the car with me. He'd been sitting in the car with me, trusted me with driving, and he'd hit the windshield without the horns and skull to protect him. I start sobbing. Liquids run down my face. Tears, maybe snot, but it's dark and I realize it's blood. It's probably all three of those things. Time stretches, distorts, loop. What the fuck? No, look at this. Look at this shit. Somehow I get home. Somehow I ditched the car and ran up the road all the way to my house. The entire way I try to dial 911 on my phone to get Chase some help, but the buttons won't hold still. I couldn't look at the time, but I know he's lying in a bloody heap in the passenger side footwell. As I stumble towards the house, I realize that the thing is still waiting for me. He jumped out of the car and hidden on the porch. I whimper and stare at the shadows, then I run to the house. I stumble back and forth, the ground sinking towards the window wells like quicksand sucking me in. Bro, it's just Flynn. I dodge around them, pulling my hooves out of the sinking grass, about to get stuck. Once I get to the back door, I shove my paws into my pockets, but there aren't any keys because I left them in the ignition. I sob again and look around desperately. The longer I hold still, the deeper I sink into the ground. Again, I almost give in. Then I see the tree house. Like my legs are made of lead, I stumble across the yard, feeling the thing crawling after me. I leap up and cling to the ladder before scurrying up, my hooves slipping on the wood as I feel the tree start to sink as well. I fumble up through the opening, breaking through the cobwebs and snorting up dust. I crawl to a corner and curl up, covering my eyes and facing the wall. I beg Chase to forgive me because now I can't get him help, because now I'm stuck on this sinking ship with the monster. I curl up tighter and tighter, so tight that I become my own source of gravity, my own black hole, sucking up everything around me, stretching it thin, then tearing it apart. It's only then that everything settles. My parents found me 3 hours later after someone had reported the accident to the cops a few hours after I'd left. My dad took responsibility for it so I wouldn't get tested for anything. He made up some excuse about walking to the house because he forgot his cell phone. I guess they didn't wonder why blood was everywhere and why my dad had no injuries. I realized what happened was just a bad trip, but I don't have any plans to try it again. I guess it helped me discover things about myself. Things I'd rather not have found out. Even now, irrational fears get the better of me, and I'm still paranoid as fuck, like everyone's keeping a big secret from me. Sometimes I'm positive they're hiding the fact that they found a dead otter in the car. Holy shit. That was fucked. Okay, let's see what else is on here. Are we just able to, like, replay days? Holy fuck, we are able to just replay days. Like, entire days in this game now. Okay. I'm going to close out of here because I don't want to have any, like, saving issues. Like, save file issues. So I'm going to just open up the older version and do it that way real quick. And we'll get started with Jenna. Actually, let me see what's in here. Okay. Hold up. Ah, wait. Okay. Uh, what I'm going to do is I'm going to load this and have a quick question for all of you. Should we tell? Should we stay gay or tell Jenna that we're bi? Oh wait. Not really. Hmm? I mean, yeah, obviously I liked Leo, but I've liked girls too. Oh, interesting. Hmm. Here we go. Let me just skip ahead of all this. Follow Jenna and Leo. I watched Jenna's tail disappear through the sagebrush. We're headed down the same trail that I'd used to get to Lake Emma. TJ. TJ did seem to head off in that direction while we were fighting, but I can't imagine he'd go to the lake. I should go with him to help find the links. I'm also a little worried about Leo. It's been a long time since I've seen him that pissed. When I get there, I find Leo leaning back with his rear up against a big boulder on the shore. Bittersweet memories flood in. That rock is almost as much a staple of my childhood as the actual lake is. It's weird like that. Every memory I have of this place is dreamy and gold tinged, but always has a hint of sadness about it, no matter what the situation is. Jenna's standing in front of Leo, her arms folded as she talks to him. I can't see his face, but his posture is sagging and his ears are down, looking way older than he actually is. I stand back for a while, feeling awkward about intervening at this point. Leo occasionally shakes his head, then takes out his phone to look at it. I can see Jenna getting annoyed, but then she says something and Leo turns his head to look back at me. I seize up for a second, but Jenna is beckoning me with her paw while Leo isn't looking. I start stumbling over the rocks towards them as Leo looks down at his phone and Jenna starts walking towards me. Just talk to him. He'll listen to you. Okay, should we actually, I think we have to stay with Jenna. I look towards Leo, hunched forward, ears down, looking like an angry gargoyle perched on the ledge of a church. Hold on, Jenna. I turn back around to face her. Hmm? I look back over my shoulder at Leo, watching his ears flick towards us. I think Leo wants to be left alone. Jenna folds her arms and looks past me. You sure? Thought you could get him to calm down. I look at Jenna for a while, realizing that I'd just rather talk to someone more collected, rather than a big angry wolf. Yeah, I'm sure. Well, alright. Should we head back then? Okay. As we start disappearing into the sagebrush, I look back in time to catch a glimpse of Leo looking over his shoulder. I look back down at the ground, wondering if it would have been a good idea to at least tell him that I felt like he needed time alone. I noticed Jenna looking around, her huge ears perked up against wide, against wide, perked up wide like sails. What are you looking for? TJ. If it was up to me, I'd be leaving TJ alone as well, but Jenna always worried about him. I follow her through the brush in silence, unsure of what to say. So, why didn't you hang back with Leo? I move along with her for a while, thinking it over. I don't know. When he's in a bad mood, he's really only good for a fight, you know? I catch up and start walking alongside her since I was starting to taste the dirt being kicked up by her feet. Yeah, that would be a good idea to let him cool down for a bit. I sort of envy the way she's dressed right now, with her short shorts and tank top. Jeans don't exactly breathe well. I finally start to see our picnic again. Carl's still sitting in the lawn chair, his head hanging over the back and smoke wafting around him. Jenna stops and puts her paws on her hips, looking around. Where do you think he went? There aren't many places he could have gone. Her eyes seem to settle, and I follow her gaze to a clump of brush and trees next to the river. If TJ had anywhere to hide in the short amount of time that he did, that would really be the only place he could have done it. Without a word, Jenna starts in that direction. I tag along awkwardly, kind of feeling like I'm invisible to her right now. As soon as we break through the brush, we spot TJ. I watch as Jenna immediately goes to his side and sits down. TJ's ears perk, but otherwise he doesn't look up. After a while, Jenna wraps an arm around TJ's shoulders. I see him bristle for a second, and Jenna says something to him that I don't quite catch. Finally, he leans in and hugs her, and I can hear him sniffling. I'm starting to feel like I'm intruding, and I start to back away, but Jenna sees me and jerks her head. Where are you going, Chase? Come here. TJ pulls back from Jenna and starts wiping at his eyes. Chase? Yeah. I feel like TJ would be embarrassed to have me around, and he probably is, but Jenna's pretty insistent, so I move forward to stand next to them. I was just telling TJ about the time we used to float the river on the old inner tube. I smile and sit down next to Jenna, stretching my legs out. Do you remember that, Chase? His voice is strained and a little crackly, but he seems to have things under control now. Do I? Always thought it was ridiculous to use one of those things when you could just float on your back. Sorry, we're not all living floaties, Chase. We sit there for a while, and now it isn't as awkward. I feel like if it were up to me, if it were just me and TJ, things would be a lot more tense. Jenna has a way of making things feel natural and easy. It's like her confidence is a shield to all my weird, awkward stupidity. I hear TJ shift and sniffle as he wipes his face again. I'm sorry, guys, I didn't mean... Nope! You stop right there, TJ. He does stop. It's hard not to when she has a tone like that. Flynn is an absolute dick. Never let him affect how you feel about things. He only thinks about himself and how he feels. Right, Chase? I feel like this is just a little bit unfair to Flynn. Yeah, he was pretty selfish, but he did care about other people. At least, I think he does, even though he hardly ever admits to it. Probably best to agree with Jenna right now, though. Yeah, he's just not thinking straight right now. I think coming here might have been a bad idea. That really shouldn't matter. In fact, we probably should have gone to the lake. What happened, happened, and there's not much we can do about it. Letting it absolutely rule our lives like this, to the point of preventing us from going where we want to go, that's pretty messed up. We all went through it, and it was awful, but we stayed friends, and here we are. Maybe we should celebrate that instead of accusing each other of bullshit. Yeah. Of course, what Flynn had been saying wasn't complete bullshit. None of us really know exactly what happened, except TJ. I didn't have any reason to come here, and if I had the same mindset as Flynn, I never would have. TJ glances over at Jenna. How are things with you and my family? Same as it's been for the past 5 years. I don't know. Maybe you could try... Jenna sighs deeply. Sorry, I didn't mean... No, TJ, it's fine. It's just... She seems to be thinking hard about what she's going to say. Man, the things that Jenna could say about her family, I have too many bad memories about that. That family is completely broken. Like, there's no fixing it. Going back would just mean trouble. I've learned my lesson. With Adam and Dad gone, it's just my mom and Jeremy now. Anyway, not much of a family to go back to. Has anyone seen him since? As far as I know, no. But I wouldn't really care if he is back. And if he really is missing, well, Mom never filed a missing persons report, so I guess it wouldn't matter. I'm sorry. Why? You're not the one that messed it all up. TJ looks away, his ears down. Jenna sighs and puts an arm back around TJ's shoulders. And here I am, bringing everyone down when the point was to make you feel better. Chase, remind us of something happy. I jump, then scramble after being put on the spot. Remember when we called it Yee-Yaw River? I remember when you called it Yee-Yaw, Chase. You had a bit of a speech impediment back then. Yeah. I remember that. It was kind of cute. It's quiet for a moment, then Jenna gives TJ a little nudge. So, how's school going, TJ? It's not bad. Got accepted into the athletic training program, which is really cool because they're really selective. I think I'm one of 20 that they chose. Wow, that's fantastic, TJ. TJ smiles, though he's still looking at his feet. Thanks. Hey, but you got into Weston. I did. I furrow my brow at that. Hey, come on, Weston is like the stereotypical best school in the country. She looks over at me and smiles. It's great, I know. Just a lot of stress. Sometimes I'd like to get a break. That was a little surprising to hear from Jenna. Usually she was so energetic and had a get-her-done attitude about almost everything. Anything. That's why I assumed she got into Weston in the first place. Maybe you should take a break then. It's kind of up to you, isn't it? Just because I want it doesn't mean I need it. Hey, Tej, weren't you wanting to go hiking while we were here? Yeah. I know things are a bit bad right now, but it could be fun to go. Of course, TJ. I was planning to go with you anyway. Oh, cool. At that point, all of TJ's gloomy demeanor disappears. His tail quirked and his ears perked up. And his ears up. Jenna looks sideways at me, meaningfully. Yeah, definitely didn't want to do that. I'm not even doing anything, and already I'm sweating buckets and looking at the shiny water longingly. I would have jumped in the water by now if TJ wasn't here. For some reason, that would seem inappropriate. Right then, I feel something pressed down hard on my paw, which is splayed out behind me. Looking over, I see that Jenna has her paw on mine, leaning on it. Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm going. Yes! Jenna lifts her paw off mine, and I gulp. It didn't really hurt, but something about her suddenly touching me like that. It's settled then. We should probably get back. We want to get a lot of rest before the hike tomorrow. Tuesday. So, where are we headed, TJ? Jenna sounds like she's in a much better mood than yesterday. We all are, really. The canyon. Echo Canyon, more specifically. You ever been? He looks at both of us with a grin. Nope. No, me neither. His ears fall a little. What? You know the town is named after it, right? How have you not been there before? I shrug and Jenna laughs. Because you have to walk through 3 miles of snake-infested desert to get there. That makes me bristle, because there definitely are snakes here. I can't help but scan the brush. You really shouldn't worry about that. They're more afraid of you than you are of them, and they do have a rattle, so just listen for it. Jenna grins and looks straight at me. Yeah, you're right. The most dangerous animal you'll find on these paths is the blonde. An involuntary shiver works itself up my spine. Jenna. TJ frowns. That's even less likely, Jenna. Great. Now that you said it, I'm going to be all uptight for the rest of the hike. You're welcome. Alright, let's get going. We want to make it to the top by noon. A few hours in, and TJ's quite a bit ahead of us. I feel a little bit bad about it, but I think he likes it that way. Probably wants to think after yesterday. Jenna and I walk side by side, and she's making sure that I drink water the entire time. You should be done with that by now. She gestures at my water bottle, which is still half full. Ugh, come on, I've had like 3 already. I take a sip, then almost snort water as Jenna tips up the bottom of the bottle. Hey, I made TJ a promise here. You're an otter. You need it. Blah. Stop. I cough a few times, water running down my chin and chest. Even though it feels good, I wipe it away with the forearm. Jenna chuckles before we start walking again. Actually, you don't really need more water than me or TJ, as he could tell you. The water thing is actually more of a psychological need as opposed to a physical one. Oh yeah? I look over at my wet camera bag, which definitely didn't need water. Yeah, you know, back when there weren't really any ethics in research, they separated an otter pup from water, never allowed it to swim. That makes me pause. Technically, in this day and age, otters don't really need to swim. A trip to the supermarket gets all that done. But something about not being allowed to be in water, to feel the cold, isolated space that I so longed to be in. What happened? Depressed, disengaged, neurotic in general. When they were done, they just set him loose into the world. He killed himself a few years later. Wow. Yep, I mean, ethics are in place now, of course. Not that the psychological association is any better. You probably heard about their role in the whole advanced interrogations controversy. Like, the waterboarding stuff? Yeah, but it really makes you realize how powerful the brain is. It's not all physical necessities. It must have been pretty awful for him that he killed himself. I can't imagine. talking about offing oneself, it's got me thinking about Jenna's brother. So, you want to talk about Adam? No. Well, I sort of did, but I don't think that would be appropriate at all. I was just wondering, are you going to go see your family sometime during the trip? We talked about it earlier, but I guess you didn't really give an answer. Jenna snorts loudly, tossing her head back. You're kidding, right? I feel my cheeks flush, knowing that I might have said something really offensive. I'm not really in tune with how things are with Jenna's family. Leo, and sometimes even Flynn, dealt with most of that. I mean, aren't you a little bit curious? Curious is the wrong word. Oh? Maybe morbidly curious. Anyway, they haven't bothered contacting me since I left, so as far as I can tell, they're not missing me. Guys, there's a giant dip over here, so watch your step. TJ's quite a bit ahead of us now. I don't even see him anymore around all the boulders and brush. I pick up the pace, and Jenna follows. Well, do you miss them? She doesn't say anything for a while, which tells me she's really thinking about it. No. She says it, finally surprising me a little with her bluntness. At least not my mom and dad. Not even Adam. Really? Jenna shifts around as she grabs another water bottle out of the backpack and hands it to me. Adam, he had problems. Mom and Dad fucked him up, of course, but he took it out on me. He did some messed up stuff. I debate whether or not I should ask exactly what that messed up stuff was, but I'm way too scared of what it might be. Jeremy, though, I guess I wouldn't mind seeing him again. I gave her an incredulous look. See, Jeremy's the one I thought you wouldn't have wanted to talk to. Yeah, now Clint is the one that fucked up Jeremy, but he really was a good person before then. Jeremy was, for as long as I can remember, a royal dick, a bully to me, TJ, and Carl. Along with Clint, he terrorized our childhood. That is, until Leo showed up. I'll never forget the day Leo rammed Jeremy's head into a tree and punched Clint so many times in the face his eyes almost swelled shut. Of course, Leo never got into trouble because neither of their parents gave a shit. Environment is really important to how you develop as a person. I think for a second. Well, you turned out alright. Environment and temperament make us who we are. Some people can just take more. It's clear that her temperament was a lot stronger than mine, whatever that was. If I had parents like that, I don't know how I would have survived. I take another gulp of water, and it's then that I realize how badly I need to pee. Looking off to the side, I spot a rather large boulder surrounded by sagebrush. Hey, you go ahead. I gotta take a piss. Jenna quirks her muzzle and folds her arms. Sure you don't want me to wait up for you? I'm kidding. She turns and starts walking up the trail. Watch out for spiders. Sometimes Jenna's jokes were so dry that I had a hard time figuring out if she was really joking or not. I dodge my way around the sagebrush and tumbleweeds towards a large boulder and start to piss. Jenna really is an enigma. She's nice enough and smart, but she has this edge about her that always has me on guard for some reason. Fur prickles on the back of my neck. I'm not sure what it is, but something isn't right. I look left and right in the small chance that someone else is coming up the trail. It's weird feeling like this in broad daylight. Normally I don't get so uptight unless it's dark. I hear it's the opposite with species that can see better at night. Something's watching you from the brush. A shiver runs up my spine and I tremble under its influence. As if on its own accord, my head whips around, immediately focusing in on a clump of sagebrush 30 feet away. And there, right there in the middle, someone's face is staring at me. I can only call it a face before there are two eyes and a mouth, but I've never seen anything like it. It's flat, wide and stretched out, sagging where the chin should be. I can't help myself. I yelp loudly and stumble to the side as I whip my body around to defend myself, somehow conscious of the fact that my dick is still out. Then it all comes together. I stare for a few seconds longer, then let out a tight, high-pitched laugh. Are you fucking kidding me? It's a rock. A white rock. And the sagebrush twigs have fallen over it perfectly to give its features similar to that of a face. I sigh and rub my own face with both my paws, feeling my heart hammering in my chest. I always did this shit to myself. As I lower my paws, I notice a wet streak across the left side of my pants. I hadn't finished peeing yet. Fucking son of a bitch. I hiss and turn back to the boulder, trying to work myself into a peeing mood again. Finally, as I start finishing up, the prickling feeling on my neck starts up again. I I try to ignore it, but it's getting worse and worse. I shake my hips around a few times, then zip up and start back around the boulder. It's at this point that I give a quick glance back at the brush. The rock isn't there anymore. I stare, one paw on the boulder, feeling my fur start to bristle out all over my body. What? Maybe it's because I'm at a different angle now. That feeling of being watched is overpowering, though, and is coming from the other side of the boulder where I was just at. I look up the trail, but I don't see TJ or Jenna at all. I can't even hear them. I look back towards the boulder, wondering if I'm losing my mind. Gritting my teeth, I turn away and start back up the trail at a brisk walk, knowing that I'm acting just like a little kid. Despite that, I feel myself start to panic a little, and soon enough I'm running up the trail and I'm not looking back. We made it! He says it, even though he's already sitting down on what looks like a rock bench. He probably got there a good 10 minutes before us. I'm sweating all over the place, but Jenna seems fine. It's embarrassing because it's only now that I realize she'd been hanging back because of me. Group hug! TJ stands up and holds his paws out. I want to protest because of how gross I must look, but Jenna sort of forces me into it as TJ walks up to us. Lol, just Flynn taking a peek. This was a lot of fun, guys. Thanks for coming. Well, we're glad you had fun, even if we weren't able to keep up. As we lean back from the hug, I see Jenna's nose wrinkle. I press my tail a little closer to my rear. Alright, let's eat. We sit down on the rock bench, and Jenna starts pulling the sandwiches out of the soft cooler. He'd been so excited about our trip that he'd gone to the convenience store by himself at 5 in the morning and made all of our sandwiches. It's actually pretty good too. There's even avocado on it, even if it's packaged, mushy kind, according to him. We eat in silence for a while, and looking over I can see that Jenna's deep in thought, chewing slowly. What's up? She shrugs, then swallows. Just thinking about how this might be the last time we really get to hang out is all. That's kind of a sad thing to say. Well, think about it. I graduate in a few months and I'll be off to the other side of the country. Then you'll graduate, Chase, and I don't think you'll be sticking around here. Maybe. And you, TJ, you might just leave the country. That would make sense. TJ's parents are back in his hometown. I think we'll get together again. It's just a matter of planning it right. It might be a while, but it'll happen. And there's always the internet. I'm just saying, I hope Flynn can get over himself before the end of our trip. I don't think this should be our big send-off. We've still got time. I lean back and drape my arms over the back of the bench, closing my eyes. I really want to take my shirt off, though. The fabric is almost soaked through, and it's clinging in a really gross way to my fur. The sun is beating down on me, shining bright red through my eyelids. If only there was a pond up here, I'd be able to sink to the bottom, the sun reduced to a shimmering silver. My type really isn't built for this kind of weather. I feel Jenna shift next to me, and suddenly I feel her nose up against my ear, and I shiver a little. What the hell was she doing? I start to turn my head towards her. Chase, do you need some musk off? I open my eyes, then squint against the brightness of the sun. What? I said. She leans forward, obviously not wanting TJ to hear. She laughs a little before she starts again. You're smelling a little strong. Instantly, my ears burn, and I scoot away instinctively, lowering my eyes. Shit, sorry. No, it's alright. You didn't know we were going on a hike before you packed. But I have some. TJ's looking over at us curiously as he nibbles on his salad wrap. Ears perked, and I don't know why, but I glare at him, already humiliated enough. He frowns. What? Nothing. Jenna's just telling me I stink. Oh. Jenna laughs, then reaches over to her backpack and opens the top zipper, talking in a normal voice now. It's the female brand, so it's not as strong, but it should get the job done. Thanks. I grumble and snatch it from her paw, instantly feeling shitty about it because I know she's just trying to be nice. Even though TJ and Jenna are probably the nicest people in our little group, it's still fucking embarrassing. I'd actually prefer Flynn's ripping right now. I stalk off around the rather large brush and pull down my pants. The can is pink and covered in flowers. Great. I grab my tail and yank it up before giving my ass a good liberal dose of girl smells. Of course, if I'd known I'd be doing anything so sweat-inducing, I would have brought my own boy-smelling brand. But I'm stuck with this, smelling like a girl in front of Jenna. Guess it's better than nothing. As I come back around the brush, I can tell something's off. TJ meets eyes with me, then quickly looks down, frowning. I glare. I'd honestly be happier if he just joined in with Jenna and laughed at me instead. She's buried in her phone right now, which is annoying since she told us before the hike that phones weren't allowed. All done? She doesn't even look up, but points at the bag with a foot. Go ahead and stick it back in the bag. I sigh and bend over to shove the can back in, then notice that it's been zipped closed again. Without thinking, I zip it back and widen the gap and immediately find a big furry orange and black spider glaring at me from the bag. I scream like a fucking girl and jump, dropping the can, stumbling and falling flat on my ass as I trip over some rocks. I land on my tail wrong and it sends a jolt of pain up my back. Jenna, who already started laughing the moment I screamed, puts a paw to her muzzle. Only one, though, because the other is holding her camera phone and she's filming the whole fucking thing. Oh god, are you okay? She's still smiling behind her paw. Fine. I guess I have a decision to make, whether to get mad or to just shrug it off and laugh with them. I go with the latter and grin sheepishly. Wow, I'd expect that from you, Jenna, but TJ? What the hell, man? TJ flinches, a sad look on his face. She told me she'd throw me off the... She told me she'd throw me off the cliff if I said anything. Jenna laughs again and puts her phone away before picking up the can and shoving it into the bag. Success! Where the hell did you even get that from? That one rest stop with the souvenir shop. Alright, everyone done? I know you need to get some shots of the canyon chase. Let's go do that. Jenna... No, I think that's just like regular trauma. I don't know. Actually, what is it? What does it mean when someone triggers you? He was just triggered. I sit cross-legged next to Jenna, a bit further back than she is with her legs dangling over the edge of the cliff. I guess someone that's so confident about her life and future isn't worried about falling the 80 feet to her death. It's sort of the opposite of Carl, but with the same result. You know, one good thing about this place is stuff like this. Hanging off the edge of a cliff, lack of people, the mountains. I'll miss that. I hear some mountains back east are small, like hills. That sounds nice too. She picks up a sizable rock and tosses it off the edge, listening to the clatter and echo as it bounces down the cliff. Doesn't really matter though. I'll be living in a big city, way bigger than Peyton. Are you nervous? About living in a big city? No, I'm more anxious to get started with school actually. And of course, I'll miss you guys too. A lot. She flicks her ears back at TJ, who's flat on his back under a tree behind us, snoring lightly. I wipe my forearm across my forehead, the oils from my waterproof fur sliding nastily against each other. Sorry, but... I pull my shirt off. I need to let my shirt dry out. It's fucking gross. She looks over at me, then her silver and turquoise necklace catching the light and flashing briefly. Jenna looks perfect, of course. The fur on her face and arms is brushed with the lei, held together by some kind of spray, probably. By comparison, I look like a soggy log covered in wet brown mold. I blush and look down, the bravado I had worked up to take off my shirt dissipating under her gaze. She doesn't laugh, though. I was wondering when you were going to take that off. Looked really uncomfortable. Yeah. Sorry, I'm gross. It's not gross. Just what your body does to survive. Jenna sometimes says things that I suspect carry a lot more meaning than what's on the surface level, but honestly, I'm too dumb to figure it out. I really hope my smell isn't overpowering the spray, but I'm in the middle of leaning to the side to see if I can catch a whiff of my butt musk, and I jolt back up. Huh? What was kind of gross is that there was another smell. Oh? Yeah. Did you pee on yourself? It takes me a second to register what she just said, and it hits me, and this time I have to close my eyes out of shame. Of course she was going to smell that. Foxes can smell fucking everything on you that's happened in the last week. Yeah, I did. She laughs this time and I look away, off into the canyon again. I know it can happen, but it just smells like it was a lot is all. I sigh and lean back on my paws, letting my head hang back. I debate telling her exactly what happened since it seems so childish, but it's not like she's being mean. She has a demeanor about her that just makes you want to talk. Must be that psych degree at work. I just saw something that scared me a little, so when I jumped, I got some on me. What did you see? She lays out flat on her back, legs still dangling over the side with her paws behind her head. I guess so she can get a better look at me. I avoid looking right at her in case she thinks I'm staring. Okay, this is going to sound stupid, but it just felt like I was being watched. You know when you psych yourself up and everything looks scary? Of course. So I felt that behind me, but when I looked, I saw what sort of looked like a face and some sagebrush. Just talking about it right now is getting my fur to prickle. I hadn't really thought about it since it happened, and now that I am, it's only now that I'm realizing how weird it all was. Huh, like a face you recognized? No, it's sort of flat, like it didn't have a muzzle and white. I look back at Jenna, but she's not looking at me. Instead, it's like she's looking past me. That is weird. Yeah, but it was a rock. We're wired to recognize faces, so we find them in a lot of things. Yeah, I mean, the twigs and stuff were falling across it in a way that made it look like it had eyes and stuff, but then I realized what it was. But I jumped and got pee on myself, so that's what happened. What's weird is that when I was leaving, I couldn't see it anymore. I say the last part with a laugh, mostly to hide how freaked out I am about it. When I look at Jenna again, I can see the fur on her neck has lifted a little. Okay, hang on. Let me go back a bit. Okay, I hear all that, and, I'm just thinking of this thing that I saw at one point, where it's like, never mind. It's probably just the angle, though. You alright? Jenna looks back at me, and I can tell she's debating whether or not to tell me something. I wait. Just made me think about when I was a kid. Hadn't thought about it for years, actually. I pause. Do you want to talk about it? I'm worried I'm about to open up a can of worms. It wasn't traumatizing or anything like that. Well, it was actually, but it wasn't real. Did you see a face? Yeah. Not exactly like yours, though. It was more of a red color, but it was flat, too. That's what made me think of it. Talking about Flynn. Swear to God, she's talking about Flynn. She's talking about Flynn. Whoa. Yeah, it had a body too, but I can't really remember exactly what it was like. Back when he's still closeted. I don't know, like, Flynn's route and even TJ's route, he got fucked hard. And I'm not talking about, like, crying or whatever. I'm talking about, like, he gets fucked over. Yeah, it had a body too, but I can't remember exactly what it was like. Did you dream it? No, not really a dream. At least not in the sense that I was asleep when it happened. I'd just see it walking around in broad daylight sometimes. What the hell? Are these real solid memories? Like it really happened? I don't know. It usually happened when I was sad or angry, like when Dad was having one of his moments. I'd just see it walk past a doorway, or sit in a closet. Really? What the fuck? This was a long time ago, like when I was 5. I don't want you thinking I'm crazy, Chase. I don't. I saw things too as a kid. Yeah, I think you've told me. I had, and it's something I really don't want to think about right now. I'm pretty sure it's just something my mind made up because I was under a lot of stress. The brain can make up whatever it wants, really. It's part of the reason I went into the field that I did. I want to help figure these things out. Do you see it anymore? At all? She's quiet for a moment, then shakes her head. No. My phone goes off and I jump with a little yelp. Jenna laughs and breaks the tension a little bit, so I laugh with her. I know you said no phones, but you already used yours, so I think I get a freebie. Hey, I had to record your reaction for posterity. Looking at the message, I see it's from Leo. Where are you? I stare at it for a second. It seems a little short. Usually Leo throws in cheesy emoticons for everything. When he's not angry, of course. Jenna notices my expression. What's up? It's just Leo. I type out a quick response telling him I'm hiking with TJ and Jenna, and did we forget to tell him that? Almost instantly I get a response. Yeah, you did. He's definitely got something up his ass. Wolf boy getting pissy. Maybe. I can never tell with him. Jenna's phone goes off right then. Ah, speak of the devil. Since it seems like she's inviting me, I lean over to read her phone. What the hell? I feel myself getting a little angry. What the fuck's his problem? Jenna gives a little playful smirk as she sits up and puts her phone away without responding. Aw, he's jealous. It gets me flustered for some reason. You think so? That, and he probably wants us all to hang out together, which we should, but we need some time away before we can give Flynn another chance. Anyway, we should head back. If we start now, we can grab dinner at the diner by 6. Jenna gets up and goes to wake up TJ, but I'm sort of lost in thought. I feel bad for Leo. Was he mad at me for not talking to him by the lake yesterday? After being out in the desert for so long, it feels absolutely amazing to be sitting in the air-conditioned diner. Having already ordered our food, I lean back against the booth, my eyes feeling a little heavy. So thanks again for going with me, guys. It wouldn't have been as much fun if there wasn't anyone to share it with. Of course, TJ. I had a lot of fun, too. I put in my affirmative as well, grinning. And sorry you guys had to put up with my slowness. And smell. Ugh, stop apologizing for it. It's like you're speciesist against your own kind. I'll be sure next time that we don't do such a long trail. If there is a next time. I hope there is. Maybe. There's not exactly much else to do out here. The thought of hiking again makes my knees weak, but I don't say anything. So Chase, I have to ask, have you been seeing any guys at Pueblo? That question takes me by surprise and I pause, looking at Jenna. TJ looks surprised as well, but looks at me curiously. It has been years since you and Leo were together proper. You two were pretty outspoken in all your social media pictures. TJ stirs some of his initial shock at the topic shift. TJ stirs some from his initial shock at the topic shift and nods, speaking up. Yeah, in comparison to back in the day, you've been pretty quiet on that front. I feel myself cringe inwardly in remembrance of all the kissing selfies and cheesy song quotes we'd post. Oh my god. Leo did most of it, but I was by no means innocent. As of late, I haven't really posted much. Most of the people who are still on my timeline just rant about political stuff. As the two look on expectantly, I feel myself shift in the pleather diner seat uncomfortably. Well, not really? Oh? Yeah, I guess after a relationship as long as Leo and I's, I've kind of just been focused on, adulthood. Adulthood is difficult, a reasonable thing to keep you occupied. TJ nods with a broad smile, his big ears flopping a little. Well, have you engaged in anything more casual since? I feel myself blanch a little before recombobulating. TJ is just looking confused, thankfully. I downloaded one of those gay apps for meeting guys. All it really does is make me feel like crap, though. I look sidelong toward the links beside Jenna. He gives me a curious look. People on there can be pretty speciesist. I see a lot of no mustelides, no otters, and no musk types. I met up with a few guys, but it was all pretty awkward and didn't go anywhere. Most didn't look like their profile picture. That's awful. Can't imagine putting yourself up for that sort of thing. He pauses, then quickly holds up his paws defensively. I mean, meeting someone you like and love organically, I think that's the word, is important. Well, Chase here doesn't have that luxury. According to a study I read, about 1 out of every 25 people are gay. Then, the chances of both parties having mutual attraction lowers the compatibility chances even more so. The online component is almost a necessity depending on one's region, Echo seeming to be the bizarre exception. I see TJ's face shift to a guilty expression, the grey feline muttering a quiet "oh" before taking a long drink of water. I uninstalled it though when I visited my parents over Christmas. Haven't had much of a thought to install it back. I think you should reinstall it. I'm actually a bit curious what sort of results we'll get in Echo. My mind reels back to 15-year-old me posting a Photoshop picture of myself on Peyton List Mail for Mail and the horrible aftermath. I don't know, Jenna. Probably wouldn't get much anyway. Most results would be from Peyton 30 miles away. Plus, I'm pretty sure I already know the only result is going to be a certain shirtless Gila. Honestly, I hate to sound like one of those podcasts, but something has to be in the water here. First Flynn, then Leo, then you. I watched all of you grow up and turn out to like guys. I still remember you sitting on the edge of my bed, sniffling about your parents finding out and how much of a deviant you were. Completely unaware that I'd had the same sort of conversation with both Flynn and Leo about a year earlier. Oh god. I plants my face under my palm. It is kind of weird, I guess. But now that you're officially bi, your horizons have expanded, yes? I have to ask, have you been dating any girls? I'm taken off guard, looking back up to Jenna. TJ stops gulping down his ice water. Not really, actually. I mean, I guess you could say I lean towards males, but it's not like... I was about to say that I sometimes look at straight porn when I'm in the mood, but that might be a little inappropriate with TJ there. Hell, it's probably inappropriate to say in front of Jenna too. Do guys talk about porn in front of girls? It's not like I don't notice girls. I finish the sentence lamely, but TJ just nods. That makes sense. Well, have you ever slept with a girl? Jenna! TJ's face going from cheerful interest to outright TJ's face going from cheerful interest to outright horror is so comical I start laughing despite Jenna's question surprising me as well. Hey, this is how boys talk, right? I've been hanging out with you guys since the 4th grade. Don't exclude me just because I'm a girl. I don't talk like that. Despite TJ's reaction, I'm not too bothered by it. No, I haven't. I kissed a girl once at a party, but that was it. Do you want to be with a girl, just to see what it's like? Now I'm starting to get a little embarrassed. Whether TJ is more appalled or not, I can't tell since he's got his face buried in his paws. Maybe? I don't know. Just curious. I'm just wondering why I didn't pick up on this about you before. Jenna grins, then looks out the window. I notice then, with the way the sunset is lighting up the diner, how pretty her eyes are. It looks almost unnatural the way they glow. So I need to ask you a favor, Chase. I stiffen, wondering what the hell it might be after that conversation. I'm wondering if you could drive me to the mall. I want to get a few things. Oh sure, what do you need? Jenna hesitates, and for the first time today, she's the one that seems embarrassed. Well, you know in Pueblo we don't exactly have a great comic book shop, even though it's huge. Oh yeah? I wouldn't really know. I never did go to that section of the mall. What's especially lacking is the manga section. I smile. I'd forgotten the way that, after getting her first job, I'd drive Jenna to the mall once a week and she'd buy her favorite manga. Jenna's still not looking at me, but I grin. Yeah, it'll be just like when we were in high school. Have you been keeping up on all of those series? I remember being amazed at how much material was in those books compared to the comics, even if they weren't colored. Jenna looks back at me and I can see that she's a little relieved. Did she think I was going to make fun of her for it? I keep up with it online mostly. This is more for old time's sake. Believe it or not, that mall has some of the happiest memories I have of this place, aside from Leo's house. Of course I believe that. I guess there are a few special edition volumes I want to get that they might have. I was always surprised with what they were able to bring in. Well, that's cool. You know, I watched an anime since the last I saw you. Oh, really? What was it? I can't really remember. Ichirohe? It was a long title. It was about this old wolf guy that becomes a samurai. Let me just, go into, a text-to-speech. because I do not know how to pronounce that, nor do I want to attempt to pronounce it because I'm probably going to butcher it. So here we go. Okay, let me share my screen real quick. Here we go. Just.
Ichiro Yenoendaru.
What was that?
Ichiro Yenoendaru.
That. She says it quickly with what sounds to me like a perfect accent. Maybe? That sounds about right. Jenna makes a face like she swallowed a lemon. It is. It's the only old wolf samurai show I know. But I watch some of the older stuff. Anime these days is just, no? Well, we need to do that too. One of these nights, we're going to marathon Gyanbete Ne. The hotel Wi-Fi is good enough for it, I think. It's got this sort of Western style, medieval atmosphere to it. Well, I never really watched anime, even if Ichi, whatever it was, wasn't bad. The idea of staying up late with Jenna watching old foreign cartoons sounds like a lot of fun. Want to join us, TJ? TJ looks up from his phone. Huh? What? Do you want to watch anime with us? Sure, why not? Hey, no phones. I tease him, reaching forward and take it from him. I thought that was only for the hike. I glance over the screen, expecting to see some Christian social group or something. But instead it's a text thread from Leo. Yo, Tej, where you at? Hi, Leo, we're hiking. You going somewhere after that? Yeah, the diner. Do you want to meet us there? Is Chase going to? Yeah, he's here. Are you reading my texts? That's really rude. I look up at TJ, who's glaring at me from across the table. I look back down at the phone. Alright, on my way. Leo's coming? Yep, he's been messaging me all day. Jenna and I look at each other, both of our brows raised. What? But that's when Leo's van pulls in front of the diner and I hear Jenna sigh loudly. Leo's bulky form bounces out of the truck, doing a little jog up to the diner. The bell to the door rings as Leo walks in, all smiles. Hey, Leo. TJ. Leo immediately squeezes into the booth next to me, almost sandwiching me between him and the window. Chase, what's up? He wraps a big arm around my neck and yanks me roughly into a hug, forcing a little squeak out of my throat. See, this is how it should be. We came here to hang out, not break up into little groups and fight. That was Flynn's fault. Okay, I feel like there's going to be like a love triangle between Chase, Jenna, and Leo. Jenna says it quietly, eyeing Leo's arm around my neck. Yeah, well, I'm going to get him to apologize. Things take a little bit of time, you know? Jenna doesn't say anything, instead choosing to look over the menu, even though we've already ordered. You have fun hiking? Leo turns his goofy tongue-out smile on me. That's actually kind of adorable. I'm about to answer, but that's when his face changes and I see his nose twitching. You smell like a girl. His head snaps to Jenna and it's instantly obvious as to what he's thinking. Jenna, who's looking up now, just smiles sweetly, not trying to explain the situation at all. Leo tenses up, arm tightening around my neck, almost choking me. I forgot my musk stuff, so Jenna lent me hers. Leo looks back at me and I can tell he's trying to decide whether or not to believe me. TJ, though, for once, chimes in with something usual, cheerfully unaware. Yeah, it was pretty funny. Sorry, Chase. He looks at me apologetically, but honestly, I could kiss him right now. Bro, last time you tried to kiss him, you straight up forced yourself on him. Leo relaxes a little, but his ears are still pointed straight up, a sure sign that he's still tense. Alright. Well, next time you go, I'm coming too. Anyway, I'm planning Carl's birthday party tomorrow. What? That's like a month away. Yeah, well, there's not much else to do. Jenna leans back in her seat and folds her ears down. That's really short notice, Leo. Couldn't you have told us this before we came so we could prepare? Well, I was planning to do that today, but you guys just took off without telling me. I don't have a gift. Leo rubs his face. We've still got time to do that. Just wanted to tell you what's up. We chat for a while longer, then we get our food. Leo orders a milkshake and hangs out with us the whole time. Usually I would love to have Leo around, but something about this feels forced and awkward, and Jenna's gone pretty quiet. Leo doesn't let go of my neck the entire time. Okay. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. You do not have a right to be here. You do not have a right to be here. Anyways, I'm actually going to leave off here. Ugh. Okay. So, before I log off, there's a couple things that I need to say. For the next couple weeks or so, I might not be online until around 11. There's some stuff going on. And around the time that I usually stream, and I couldn't push it around. So, we'll be streaming later. That also means that videos might be late. Like, uploaded YouTube videos, and maybe even TikToks. They might be late. I'll try to keep you guys updated on Twitter about it. Actually, I'll just post on Twitter whenever I'll have to push it back to 11. I'll do it that way. But anyways, shit. Wait, what? Anyways, stay safe and have a good night.